Unyielding, 6/29/25. I found my favorite book growing up to be Ender's Shadow, because it details a boy nicknamed Bean, who develops intelligence and awareness at an unbelievably early age, and is by all rights superior in logic and processing capability to even Ender. I could see a connection to myself and Bean, as narcissistic as it has always seemed, and also saw how Blingus had more connection to his humanity and so made a better commander of men. Perhaps this disconnect is also why we have never been able to see eye to eye, and why he, from my perspective, has always thought himself to be more developed than I, as well as found such an easy time dismissing my seemingly frantic arguments. I've always been getting at the same thing. It's a tenacity that I've never seen equaled anywhere but in my mother, and it has destroyed my image in the eyes of everyone who has ever loved me. It's been a tragedy/comedy for the ages, and it's just been about an autistic, traumatized kid trying to do something as dumb but understandable as never giving up on his parents while attempting to be understood by the world. But it's nobody's fault. Certainly none of ours. It's just fate. Having finally found my voice, I can realize that my inner struggles are relatable most of all to people of the autistic persuasion, relatable to children of the Wild West internet who pioneered absolute free speech and open source, relatable to skeptical thinkers who have banged their heads against the proverbial walls of message boards and town halls for millennia in annoyance at the insistence of the necessity of unfalsifiable constructs such as God, the immaterial soul, and religious doctrine's sovereignty. There is a spirit of reason and tenacity within all of us that I have never stopped believing, and it's the reason I've never stopped fighting. As I've said, I'm only now having most of the developments that people usually go through in the first 20 years of life these last few months. But like Bean, my mind has been along for the ride all along, trapped and tortured to incredible philosophical desperation and insight. If I could inflict the fate of my last 30 years upon some poor newborn child, I certainly would not. Yet I am grateful to have the mind and insights with which I woke up upon this day. It comes down to my understanding of identity and awareness. I feel bad for past Vijay, and just so happen to carry his memories within, but with all the pieces I have collected, I can finally grow up and write my timeless philosophical book in the vein of Pirsig's Zen in the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, while littering myriad references all over the place unapologetically because that's the way of my people. The aforementioned true secular global internet Wild West free thinkers who have since been replaced by a new age of convenience, commercialism, and toddler-esque yet dystopian political and religious censorship. This is just a book, words on a page, zeros and ones on a drive, information. But then so too is all of existence necessarily reducible. So basically my life's work is done, so Vijay's life as just some dude can begin at last. Consider the mental image of a black hole, Hawking radiation and all. We'll say that's what you forget over time. Basically, as energy and matter travel in a straight line across harshly gravitationally bent space-time towards a relativistically asymptotic event horizon, the black hole's 2D surface, oblong Kerr black hole with charge necessarily, forms an apparent holographic plane that encodes the 3D universe upon it. That's my brain. It's a steel trap. But I think that this analogy is better, and I'm sure that Aldous Huxley and Stephen Hawking would agree. On an aside, I remember when Hawking died. It was on a Pi Day, a day that holds tremendous significance for me because I wasted a few weeks in 5th grade bored out of my gourd learning fuck all as usual, instead of choosing to memorize and instead choosing to memorize 40, then 80, then 107, then 250 digits of pi, retaining only about 130 to date, and teaching my chunking method to several of my friends at the time, and so learning just how smart everybody, neuroplastic children, actually can be, if you don't tell them off and to memorize boring and obvious shit to break them into cogs. My dad and I drank a shot of whiskey to mourn the death of such a giant of science. It meant a lot to me because we basically never did drugs. It was ceremonial, serendipitous, and transient. It was spiritual, soma, prayer, to the divine nature of existence. Hawking had pulled an Obi-Wan and become more powerful than we could ever imagine. The elements reclaimed what was taken. Nothing left but cinders, stardust. He is with Sagan now, and Einstein, and Tesla, hell, even Hitchens, von Neumann, Turing, Newton, etc. It wasn't all sad. Just like my Ujja, they were meant to be here when they were, simply because. Just cuz. So yeah, it's all there. It's all here. The world begins and ends with you, so take a deep breath, chill the fuck out, and take responsibility for your actions. Plan ahead, walk a mile in another man's shoes. Just don't be taking them shoes. And don't take shortcuts. Obstacles aren't to be feared, they guide the way. The failure of edutainment is being too easy. Make it nearly impossible. The end is nigh, so try and try and try. Just do.